guys, today's video is all about why you're seeing the opposite of what you want in the 3D, kind of going along with the idea of how to treat 3D circumstances, which is always ignore it. If it doesn't show you what you want, if it's not your end result, then do not question it, do not engage with it, don't look at it as, you know, the result or your actual reality. And today I'm going to explain why you're looking at, you know, what is the opposite of what you want, because I think this question comes up a lot. People say, I've been affirming for so long, why? Or I've been putting in the work, you know, I'm focusing on my result, I'm doing my affirmations, why am I seeing the opposite of what I want? I've had it and it's very, very confusing and frustrating sometimes. And you know, most people will go through it. Even if you're amazing at manifesting, you've been doing it for years, you fully understand it, you will sometimes still go through a process where the 3D, despite consistent work, is showing you the opposite of what you're manifesting. So please do thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all my upcoming manifestation content. It would mean a lot to me and I'd love for you guys to join the channel. It's growing so much every single day and I'm very, very grateful for that. Obviously I'm doing something right. So please do join in and you can stay up to date with everything. And also I offer one-on-one coaching. If you're interested in getting extra personal help from me where I can help you with any questions or issues you're facing with your manifestations, please do get in touch with me. The details of that partly are on screen and also linked below on my Instagram page, all the pricing and packages that I offer. It's the LOA Coaching Instagram page if you'd like to take a look. And now let's get into the video. The first point is that the 3D is literally playing out the old story. This is very often what it's going to continue to do, even if you're going to manifest very, very quickly for something you have little resistance to, it will most probably be even still a couple of days of playing out the old story. And it will tie into another point I'm going to make, but essentially for a little bit of time, right? Sometimes you can get an instant manifestation literally within seconds or minutes. It's always possible, right? I'm not saying you have to wait a long time, but generally for something, especially a relationship with another person, it does need time to unfold and progress naturally. You know, it's not a magical wand where you just instantly get it for no reason. Things do have to occur in our lives and in the world for other people in their lives to bring about your manifestation, which can take a little bit of time sometimes. And that's totally normal. Like I said, with other people, other human beings, it does need to unfold a certain way. They need that time to feel the emotions, get the ideas and inspiration, right? So for a little bit of time, perhaps, like I said, a couple of days, even a couple of weeks or months. It depends on your resistance and what you're manifesting and how much time you're willing to put in to work on the manifestation. It can continue to show the opposite, right? Your SP can continue to not text you. They can continue to be in a relationship with a third party, which you ignore, right? But I'm saying that could potentially be a circumstance whilst you are still manifesting them. And that's what the 3D reality, this external illusion, will continue to show you. So that's one reason, is that the old story is just playing out. And whilst things are slowly starting to shift and take form to bring in your manifestation into your reality, what you're looking at in the 3D reality might look like the complete opposite. Again, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or that it's not working or that this is your permanent reality. It just might be playing out the old story for a little bit of time. So please do keep that in mind before spiraling or panicking or even wanting to give up. Next point is kind of the opposite, and that is that you are kind of causing it to stay in place. And that's because I've written down here that you're focusing on it, right? You're focusing on the 3D reality and therefore you are holding it in place. This is why I always tell you guys and my clients how important a mental diet is. And you need to be able to apply it for very specific circumstances where you know you're going to mentally react. Because if you are constantly focusing on it and you just can't let go of the fact that SP didn't text you on your birthday, or your manager gave a promotion to someone else but didn't say anything to you. I always use those examples, I don't know why, but I think those are relatively common goals that we would all have, you know, about succeeding at work and having the relationship. So anyway, whatever your manifestation is, you're looking at what happened and holding it in place by ruminating on it, over analyzing it, trying to find meaning and definition, and kind of scolding yourself and criticizing yourself in the sense that, you know, why is it not working? Oh, am I doing it wrong? Why am I not able to manifest? You know, what's wrong with me? Anything like that, you're then going to spiral downwards and hold your manifestation in place, meaning that it's not going to move any closer to you, and you're holding the 3D reality as it is in place. It's like pressing a pause button on a remote, to analogize it. You're literally, when you start spiraling and looking at something and saying, oh my gosh, she didn't do this, she didn't do that, why are they over there, why are they not messaging me this, you know, it's been X amount of days and this hasn't happened, and you're questioning it, over analyzing what you're looking at in the 3D reality, you're literally holding it in place. So that's why you're seeing the opposite, because you're looking at the negatives and not allowing your actual manifestation that you are doing affirmations for to come in, or at least come in much faster. Next point that ties into my first point about the old story just kind of playing out is that you might get hot and cold results. And again, this is more to do with you actually allowing the progress, but you need to accept that this is the natural unfolding, that the 3D might not show it, but your manifestation is coming in. So if you're doing your affirmations, mental diet, putting in all the necessary work and everything, and applying all of my advice from my videos, then you are doing it correctly. You've written down the notes, you've taken in the information, you've applied it every single day. Don't worry, if you're doing that, you have absolutely nothing to even consider or question. Just keep going, keep persisting. But you can get hot and cold results as well. And this means that it's just playing out in the 3D, you know, as it's unfolding, it's glitching a little bit with the cold, but it's proof and evidence and just the way things unfold when your manifestation is literally coming into your reality, right? Coming for you. Actually not coming for you, that sounds a little aggressive, but you know what I mean. So whilst your SP or your manifestation and the people involved are conforming in your reality to give you that exact result, you can get hot and cold. So the cold obviously might look like the complete opposite. So I think this trips people up a lot when they go, for example, on a date with their SP and they're affirming for marriage, let's say. So you're kind of still in the process of your manifestation, but things are happening, it's coming together, you're super excited. And then the next day they just stop texting you and you text them first, which probably I wouldn't recommend doing that. If you're not getting the communication you want, do not reach out first. Oftentimes it will just cause you to spiral. So let's say you text them first and then for 2 more days you hear absolutely nothing. That's the cold, because you want the consistent communication, but you had a date and then they start ghosting you. So that is just hot and cold. It doesn't mean your manifestation is ruined. You know, it doesn't mean your SP hates you and it's not working. None of that. You just sometimes experience hot and cold as they are conforming, because the old parts of the old story are still remnants inside that person, inside their mental state. You know, they can't fully conform overnight usually. It does take time and happens in stages. So oftentimes with an SP, you will start seeing, you know, a bit of hot and cold where they might say or do a couple things you don't like, which, let's be honest, that's human nature. We all sometimes annoy people or get upset with people, and that's just going to happen in life. But if you're seeing that, don't panic, right? It can happen where it wavers a little bit in the 3D, and all you need to do is keep persisting. So keep doing your affirmations, keep going on every day as you've been doing so far, and then those cold moments will start getting, you know, fewer and fewer. Next point is something that you want to consider. If you haven't been putting in the right amount of work, you don't feel super confident, you don't feel kind of knowing that you've put in all the work you need to, that you're putting the right amount of you know, minutes and hours of affirming every day, you've been on top of your mental diet, you're just feeling really emotionally and mentally balanced, that's a sign that you are doing it all correctly. You know, you're on the right path, everything's unfolding and going as it's supposed to. But if you haven't been doing that, it's probably that you are not affirming enough. You need to set aside enough time every day, or be very, very strict on your mental diet in order to get your manifestation, right? And get the movement and changes that you want in your 3D reality. Again, this can naturally take some time, so you might still continue to see the opposite for a couple of days or weeks whilst you are putting in tons of work. So just ignore that and keep persisting. But if you haven't been affirming enough, and let's just be honest with yourself, really consider it. Have you put in the work that you need to? Do you logically and just with your intuition feel that you've done that? If not, then the issue is simply that you're not affirming enough. You cannot create the change and results you want because you've only been affirming and looping it for 10 minutes a day, and then the rest of the day you don't monitor your thoughts, or even 20 minutes a day probably isn't enough. It's going to take such a long time to change the beliefs that you already have. So if you've gone a year of having really negative experiences with your SP or whoever in your life, then, well, an SP refers to anyone. So whatever SP is, related to your manifestation and your desire, if you've gone a whole year of having really bad circumstances with them, you can't expect to do 10 minutes a day and then suddenly the manifestation starts coming in. It's going to take a lot more persistence than that, because you are literally going into your subconscious mind and changing beliefs and assumptions. You're changing memories and information that is stored, right? So it's going to take a lot more consistency. So be honest with yourself and consider maybe putting in more work into your affirmations. One of the final points is that you may have a lot of resistance, and this again is nothing, this is one of the moments where you're not doing anything wrong, it's simply human nature, it's just the way your mind is and your beliefs are, and as we know, as I always say, the only way to change that and shift that in your favor is to do consistent affirmations. Repeat the new story that you want so it overtakes and overrides all the negative old story. So if there's a lot of underlying resistance that you need to work out, and you do feel that you have a lot of spiraling thoughts and negative thoughts pop up throughout the day and any kind of intrusive thoughts, then those are the things that you need to work on to change. And that's only done through repetition and consistency every day with your affirmations, with the conscious manifesting practices, right? So with that, there's no magic trick or special practice you can do other than repeating your affirmations every day. But with a lot of resistance, the 3D may not play out the new story as quickly as you want. So just keep that in mind, that because of your levels of resistance, it's going to take a tiny bit longer. So you just need to keep persisting and working hard every day mentally. Final point that I want to mention that could be the reason, you're seeing the opposite, and an explanation for what the 3D is even playing out, is that you are having really strong mental reactions to the 3D, but specifically the negative things. So you've been persisting and consistent and applying my advice and watching videos and, studying law of assumption and really being motivated to achieve your manifestation, but then something happens in the 3D, or your SP texts you something nasty, and you just hold on to that. I know it's difficult to let it go and not react, but you need to learn to flip it back into the positive that you want. So if you're having a lot of strong mental reactions regularly to the 3D reality, anything, even if it's a looping one experience, that's a reason why your 3D continues to show you that, because that's what you're focusing on predominantly in your mind, and you're not being able to apply your mental diet as strongly as you should. So keep in mind if you're doing any of these things, and just put in a little extra work with your affirmations and mental diet, because that literally is the key to getting what you want. So I hope all of this advice made sense and it was useful, gave you some clarity on where you're going right or also where you're going wrong. Please do thumbs up and subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.